What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner, and today one of my holy grail items is officially home. This is something that I've been waiting on since November, which not a long time, but it feels like forever to me. So right here I have a Knights Armament SR-25. I've showed this on the channel a couple times. I have not shot it yet, but what's cool about this SR-25 is it was made in 1993, so it's very old, older than me, and yeah, it's a very clean gun. I am the second owner of this gun, which is awesome. And what's also cool about it, I mean, there's so much that's cool about it, let's be honest, but this was basically a complete package that I got. I'll show you what I got today in just a second, but I got the gun. It did not have the scope or the bipod. I put those on. So this is a Leopold Mark IV. It's the 8.5 to 25 by 50. It's a first focal plane scope. It's on a LaRue mount. I got this at a local gun show. I put a Harris bipod on here, on a Knights Armament rail adapter, so the pick rail adapter for the bipod, and then I also put a Knights Armament bubble level on here, and then the rail panels. So I added those things, but it came with this URX rail. It came with the Magpul PRS stock, this monopod. I do have the original handguard right here, which is very cool, and we'll talk about what I might do to this in the future, but I have the original handguard. I have an extra bolt, cam pin, and firing pin, which is pretty cool. And then I have two of these aluminum waffle mags, which are cool. So these were probably personally collected by Mr. Eugene Stoner, and then he modified these for earlier guns. And then I have a few steel mags here. And then also I have a tray, a Costco tray of steel mags here. And yeah, this was basically the complete package, minus the scope and the bipod, so not complete package, but everything that I really wanted, plus this holy grail item, which is what I've been waiting for. And this is the original Knights Armament SR Suppressor from 1993. And I'm very excited to have it. You can find these guns out there, but you cannot find this, or at least I've never seen one. So yeah, this is a holy grail item. The whole setup is, the guns are rare, but you can find them. This you can't. I've never seen one. And then on top of that, the gun and the silencer suppressor have the exact same serial number. So that's what makes it super special to me. And just in general, I know there's a lot of Knights Armament collectors. I'm probably going to share this video in the Knights Armament group. So if you guys are watching, you know how special this is. And I feel very fortunate to own it. And yeah, I want to take good care of it. And yeah, I mean, let's get right down to business, what you guys came here for. I hope this all fits. I pushed my camera back, so you probably aren't getting like a super close-up, but this gun is long. So with this gun, it originally came with a 24-inch barrel. The barrel is made by Remington. These are for early Knights Armament models. And then this is not a gate latch suppressor like the modern ones. So you actually have a threaded like gas block here, and this allows you to screw the suppressor on, and it's kind of like a reflex style suppressor, so it goes over the barrel. So I think there's only like 4 or 5 baffles in the suppressor, so not a lot. The person that sold it to me says it's very quiet, but he also hasn't shot it since the 90s, I believe. So it's been a minute, but oh, I'm very excited for this. I only saw this on the gun the day I bought the gun. I had to wait for the suppressor. So I bought this back in November. I'm gonna talk and do this, but I'm also like just so excited right now. I bought this back in November, and I left with the gun in November, but we had to do a tax stamp on the suppressor, and it was private individual to private individual, so I bought it from him, and we submitted the paperwork like November 13th. It got approved May 20th, but then the tax stamp got lost in transit, and before I finished that, bam, look at this. I don't even know if it's all the way in frame, but I'll put it right here for you guys. That is sick. It just looks like a really long extended barrel, but that is the suppressor. It's a 16-inch suppressor. And holy crap, it doesn't really add much weight. It does not weigh a lot. The gun weighs a lot in general, but damn, that looks so good. And yeah, so the tax stamp was approved on May 20th, but then it got lost in transit. And then earlier this month in July, we submitted for a certified copy from the ATF because it was lost at that point. So I think that certified copy is still coming, but then the official tax stamp showed up yesterday. So I think that's pretty cool. It showed up to their house, not my house. And yeah, it was approved May 20th. They shipped it out May 29th, and then it's just been lost since May 29th until yesterday. So, and it's July 15th today. So yeah, holy crap, this looks so good. I'm so excited for this. This is like a dream gun to own, and it's a piece of history at this point. So a little bit of history about the SR-25, this specific model. So this is an SR-25 Match. The match signifies that it had a 24-inch barrel. It had an A2 stock, the A2 grip. It did have this carbon fiber handguard on there from the factory. And yeah, so he added the stock and the rail on separate. But what's cool about this gun, specifically with the suppressor, is they were servicing these guns or trying them out in Somalia in 1993 to 96. So before the events of Black Hawk Down took place. Like this gun was made January 4th of 1993. Black Hawk Down took place in October of 93. So that's just crazy that these were in Somalia at that time. But you watch the movie or you look at clones, you don't see any of them in that era, but they were there. Mainly just field testing, so I don't know how much combat they would have saw at that exact time, but obviously they did pretty well because now they're one of the most popular sniper rifles out there, DMRs, whatever you would call them. But yeah, this is a piece of history. I plan on keeping it. I've gotten a lot of offers for it, like just because I've posted it before and I've posted it in groups, but I don't want to sell this. If anything, I have this goal where this is an SR-25 stamp gun. This is pre-Mark 11, pre-M110, pre all that stuff, but I have this goal. I would like to find a factory Mark 11 Mod O, but I want the lower to be stamped Mark 11 Mod O, and the suppressor for it. And then I would like to find a factory M110 stamp gun and the suppressor for it. Now I know those are holy grail items too. I understand that. I know they're hard to get. You got to know a guy that knows a guy, or just pay an absorbent amount of money for them, which I don't have that kind of money to spend on that. But I think at some point in my life, I feel like I could own the 3 of them at least. I know there's a lot of SR-25 variants, but the Mark 11 Mod O was adopted by the Navy. The M110 was adopted by the U.S. Army. The SR-25, this is just how it went in the early 90s like that. So I think it'd be cool to have all 3 generations of guns. And then I would also like to find an older 1993 produced Leopold for this. So yeah, this one was made in 2011. So I want to find one that was made in 93. So it'll probably be like a 3.5 to 10 by 40. I think the Variax 3. I don't know if it would have been a Mark IV at that time, which is just an old Leopold. This one's probably way cooler because it's at 8.5 to 25. But I would like to find an original 1993 scope and setup for it. And then at that point, if I end up getting those other, the Mark 11 and the M110, I would have no problem changing this back to original configuration, so I have all 3 generations, or those 3 generations. But I think for now, I'd like to leave it like this, because this is going to be the cooler, not cooler, but like the better way to shoot it. It's going to feel more comfortable. Other thing with this, I'm probably not going to shoot an insane amount of rounds through here, mainly because of the suppressor. I emailed Knights about this when I was buying it, just because I was asking for information, and they said, if you must shoot it, that was like word for word in their email. If you must shoot it, use 168 grain match or 168 grain match ammo. So that makes me feel like they don't want me to shoot it, and I understand why. Like, it's a piece of history. So my plan is, because this is a gun channel, we shoot guns. I'm probably going to shoot this winter for you guys. It's too hot here in Arizona right now. Desert's closed down, and I want to try to push it a little bit of distance. Probably not going to hit 1,000 yards on day 1 with it, but I would like to shoot this for you guys on the channel. Probably not record on my phone. I'd maybe get a videographer to get out there so we can get some really good footage of this. And yeah, I'd just like to shoot it on the channel at least once. I mean, more than once if possible, but I want to be very gentle with the suppressor. Now, it shouldn't just blow up, but we just got to understand, again, it was made in 1993. Suppressor technology has come a long way since then, so I don't want to hurt it. Now, obviously, it's meant to take it, but this is like, it's like if you're driving like a 40-year-old like sports car, like, you know, they're nice and they're collectible at that point. So there's more collectible value in this than like performance value. Like, you could buy a modern one and it'll shoot probably the same or better, and you're not risking destroying a very expensive gun. I mean, they're expensive new anyways, but you guys probably get my point. So the point is, I probably won't put a high round count through this gun. You're not going to see it on the channel every week, unfortunately. I'd love to, but I would really like to keep this as kind of like a safe queen, but I will shoot it. I have no problem shooting it for you guys. But yeah, this is just a really cool piece of history. I'm very excited to have it, if you couldn't tell. Also, I'll show you guys a close-up of this book, some of the pages, but I got the Vickers guide volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 2 is more modern guns, but I bought the book specifically because it has a whole section on SR-25s, and I wasn't disappointed. I'll bring the camera closer to you guys to show you the pages that I want to show you. But yeah, that's cool. And then besides that, I got the original target for it, which I'll show you guys. I have like the original, like, I guess it's not like a manual, it's like a letter that came with it. So I'll bring the camera closer and get you guys a close-up of that. But just again, like, this is such a beautiful gun. The suppressor and the rifle have the same serial number, and they were both made in 1993. And this is beefy. I mean, this thing is so long, it's crazy. So again, the suppressor is a 16-inch suppressor. It's a 24-inch barrel. But yeah, this is just a beautiful piece of history. And I could probably talk about it all night. I'm probably going to fondle it even after recording this YouTube video. So yeah, all right, let me bring the camera closer. I'll get you guys a couple close-ups of it, but there's not too much to it. It's just a very beautiful AR-10 or SR-25. And then, yeah, I mean, if I end up getting the other ones down the road, like an M110 or something like that, if I need to take this rail off, at least I have the rail, because this is like an M110 style rail. It's the URX2, I believe. I don't know. The part number on it is 24613. So I think that's the appropriate one for like an M110. The Mark 11 has their own rail. Besides that, yeah, just very excited to have it. I'm glad I have the original handguard at least, because I could find a stock. It's just a traditional A2 stock, I believe. So, yep. All right, let me bring the camera closer. You guys are going to have to bear with the background. Sorry, we don't have a fancy YouTube studio yet, but I will do that one of these days. So there's the lower. You can see it's missing some of the paint right here. I don't know what would have caused that, because it doesn't look like anything would have just worn it out right there. It could have just maybe been poorly color filled at the factory, but I don't know. This gun's too old to really matter. You'll see there's a slight difference in like the color between the upper and lower, but that's normal on them. And then yeah, this is the scope I got for it. It's an 8.5 to 25 by 50, and it's a Leopold Mark IV first focal plane. And I haven't shot this yet, obviously, but I plan on it at some point. We got the URX rail on there. And then here is the suppressor. Same thing with the suppressor. It's kind of like, it's got like a little bit of wear on it, but I don't know if it's just due to the age. I can't twist it right now while it's on there. But yeah, we got some original mags, the old school waffle mags. We got tons of steel mags, which is awesome. And then these mags are like, they're supposed to be factory Knights Armament mags, but they're old and they have 0 stamps on them. And you'll see this one has like a bluish hue to it. There's some that are slightly different. So this one has like more of a gray hue. But he did say these are all factory Knights Armament mags. There's, none of them are stamped. But yeah, beautiful gun. Got Loki just sleeping in his little cave right there. Yeah, I'm so excited to have this. This is the target that I have for it. So originally used Winchester 168 grain match back in March of 1993. So that's awesome. And then we have this little customer letter. I talked about this before in a video, but what's crazy is, where is it? Knights strongly recommends that you fire no more than 20 rounds through your bore between cleanings. Nevertheless, the bore will lap in even if cleaned at the absolute maximum of 50 rounds. So that's crazy. You got to clean your gun after every magazine. But good shooting. And then let me show you guys the book real fast. I feel like I'm reading you guys a bedtime story, but it's the bedtime story for gun people. So again, this is volume 2 of the Larry Vickers guide. And then this one's cool because it's signed, but if you buy a signed copy that you pay $30 extra for, that's all you get, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't planning on buying the signed copy, but that was the only one that was available. Yeah, let me get to right here. So if you like SR-25s, look, lots of pages of SR-25, like every variation. But what's kind of cool, I mean, it sucks, but like they don't have the suppressor in there. They only have the gun. So let me show you guys. So we need to go to 173, and I'll try not to take too long on this because obviously we can go forever. I could just read you guys this whole book, but there's Eugene Stoner. And then here is serial number 1 of the SR-25. So, and what's interesting is it's actually, if it'll focus, it's just a bunch of zeros and then a 1. So I don't know how they do their their lettering or their numbering, because this one starts with a 2. But what's also interesting about that, so there's Eugene Stoner with his personal one, and his was 21304, so mine is an earlier serial number than his, or at least based off the number, so 21304, and he passed away in 1997, I believe. So yeah, I don't know exactly when that would have dated his, but his is also at the Knights Museum in Florida, which I would love to go visit one of these days. So that's his personal one. So very cool. And then in this book, Lieutenant Colonel David Lutz, he talks about his personal one, and his was number 15. So he has it right here. He said his serial number he purchased in 1993, serial number was 20,015, which was in fact the 15th production rifle. And that's cool because mine is 20,070. So does that make mine the 70th production rifle? And then when we go a little bit further, again, I can't show you guys this whole book, even though I'd love to. Again, there's his. He's rocking a PVS-2 on there, which is crazy. He talks about running that on there. And then further in the book, he talks about, or he shows a scope that he has on there. Says, note the waffle type magazine shown above in the earlier 15 photos. These were modified original AR-10 mags that Mr. Knight collected over many years. And then, where did he talk about the suppressor? So those early model SR-25 Match Bros had integral sound suppressor threads. I never obtained a suppressor before I was forced to sell the rifle, which sucks. This is SHOT Show 1995. And I know David Lutz is still in the gun groups online, so if you ever watch this, please comment down below with what you think. You helped me out when I first got this. You commented in the group, so thank you for that if you watch this. SR-25 Match Rifle right there, and then some of the scopes that were used back then. Talked about how U.S. Special Forces had these back in Somalia from 93 to 96 with the suppressor. But let me go just ahead a little bit. That's beautiful. Lots of great pictures in here. There's the Mark 11. I really want the Mark 11 as well, and then the M110. But Dave Lutz had a picture of his. Where is it? There's a nice old one too. I think his is right here. So serial number 15 with Dave Lutz custom case, and check his out. So I kind of want to build something like that for mine, and then I basically want to find that scope for mine. I think that would be a Vari X3 or a Mark IV. I don't know, but it should be like a 3.5 to 10 by 40. But yeah, that's kind of where I'll leave it with this, because again, I could show you this whole book. It's just beautiful pictures all throughout, but lots of SR-25 stuff. And then I guess I'll show you real fast when I do eventually do this. I want to do the M110, which I think is back here. There it is, M110. So I think it'd be really cool to have that as well, and the Mark 11 Motto. And then that rail is basically this rail. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. There's one other thing I want to basically ask a question on. So in a previous video with this, it was just my update video talking about wanting to get the can. I talked about the gun. Yeah, I'll show you guys real fast. I talked about the gun getting stuck when you dry fire it, but you see the action's very smooth. I'll post a 1-minute clip real fast of what it does, because I don't want to just recreate it. I recorded it in a previous video. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think about this if you're familiar with it. So I've been playing around with this a lot just at my house, and one thing that I have a question about is with this gun, I mean, the action feels very smooth, like very smooth action. Now my question is, when I dry fire this gun, and I assume it should be safe to dry fire, I mean, it's an AR for all intents and purposes. If I dry fire this, it gets locked, like the bolt gets locked. Like, I can't pull this back by hand anymore. And the way I have to fix that is by, what's it called? Mortaring it. So when you mortar it, you pull back on the charging handle here and you tap it on something hard. So in this case, my coffee table. And that's what breaks it free. So it's not like I'm like bashing it on the table, but it definitely gets stuck just dry firing it. Now I have a feeling when I shoot it, it's gonna just have enough force to cycle it. But is this common with a Knights Armament SR-25 that is this old? Because yeah, otherwise, I mean, it has no, there's zero lockup. It is perfect until you actually dry fire it. So, all right, so now if you watch that, I did email Knights about it. They haven't got back to me yet, but I might just hit them up again this week, because that is another thing I wanna make sure is okay before I shoot this gun, because it's so rare and I don't wanna destroy it. but someone commented on that video. Let me lay this down. They said that maybe a trigger pin could have broken. So there's no side-to-side play in the trigger, and there's no side-to-side play in the hammer. So I don't know. Or they said it could have been bent, but everything looks fine. So if I let this forward, like, there's no side-to-side play in anything. Like, it feels pretty solid. Goes back no problem. So, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of hang up there, but I don't know, because it's getting stuck when the hammer is forward. So it's not getting stuck when it's back. When it's back, you saw the charging handle moves it smoothly. So it's getting stuck when the hammer is dropped. It's just not going back, but I can pull it back no problem. So yeah, I'm just curious because I want to make sure it's safe to shoot. I don't want to damage the gun. I'd be very heartbroken if I damaged this gun. But yeah, locks back no problem. Safety, fire, everything works. But yeah, just if you guys know, I'll probably hit up Knights again this week, or if Knights Armament, if you're watching this, if you could help me out, because I don't want to ruin a very rare and expensive gun. So yeah, besides that, I think that's all I have to talk about. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I know that you probably want to see me shoot it right now, but I want to get good footage of it. I don't want to just go half-assed, and then it's also too hot. So if I took it to the range right now, it'd be like a 50-yard rifle bay, which is not cool. So yep, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video.